Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, pupils. How are you doing? I hope you are enjoying the break. I want to appreciate those people that really did the assignment. I was really impressed with the outcome of the assignment. You make me to believe that I have much and more networking engineers in your class. So today, I would like us to move on to the next phase of what we've been discussing about, which is IP address and MAC address. I believe that in the first video, which we displayed the other week, I discussed what we call IP address. So today we are going to go into it, touch a little bit the ones that is for our level, and as we advance, we might touch the other one. So today we are going to touch what we call the IP address and MAC address. So let's move to the objective of the course. First objective is going to be, we are going to define MAC address. Then we are going to define IP address. And the third one, we are going to state the differences between the IP address and MAC address. So let's dive into the course. Network interface. Before we go through the definition of MAC address, we ought to revise a little bit what is a network interface card, which is NIC. So this is a picture of a card, which is the NIC. This port here is where we plug our line cable, which is the RJ45, our networking cable. So this is a picture of a network interface card. So you must have seen it in many systems, many computers. So this is a card which allows our computer to be able to have access to network. So having known this, we are now going to define the MAC address. The MAC address stands for what? The Media Access Control. That is, it is an address that is uniquely identified by the hardware interface. It is uniquely identified by the hardware interface. And the MAC address is born into the ROM of a network interface card. The ROM of a network interface card. So the ROM means read-only memory, and read-only memory, we said, it is not volatile, which means information cannot escape through it. So, and each computing device has a unique MAC address. Any computing device must have what we call a unique MAC address. It cannot be changed. It is always on every computer, handset, or any other computing device. And it is very unique that without it, no two computer have, or no two network interface have what we call the same MAC address. So now, having known this is a computer with an NIC. The NIC is in the system unit, inside the system unit, and here is how the MAC address looks like. The MAC address. So it is the address that is on this chip, which makes computers that are on the same network within a limited area to be able to communicate with one another, to be able to access one another. There's a story I want to give to you. In the school, there are these people that always have access to network because of the MAC address, and we know it is very unique to computer. The network administrator have to block or stop people from having access to the network, but he can only do that through the network, the MAC address, because we know that no two users of computer have the same MAC address. The only way you can have the access to the network or internet is for you to change your MAC, the NIC card, because the address is already inside the network interface card. So that's why the network interface card is very important. The MAC address identify computer in the network. So now another picture is this. There's a chip which has a ROM itself, which we said the network interface card is bound into this chip. So with this now, we can be able to now have access to the internet. So having known this now, we are going to move to the next step, which is to define the IP address. What is an IP address? An IP address is a kind of address that allows computer to be uniquely identified on the internet. Without this IP address, we will not be able to have access to information around the world. Look at this computer A, sending information to computer B, must make use of what they call the IP address. And this computer A has its own address, which is 174.whatever, and it's another one which is 192.43.258.13. So this is the sender and this is the receiver. The receiver too, it is sending information from this computer to this computer. So we have the from whichever computer and to whichever computer. Then IP address is an address that provides connection on the network. Once your computer is connected to the network, it provides connection. IP address is provided by the network administrator or the internet service provider. The network administrator can assign different IP address to different computer. And the ISP can also uniquely assign IP address to different computers. Here is another picture. We have Tom trying to log into his Facebook account. So we can use IP address in order to log into any account in the world. The name www. Computer doesn't understand English. It only understands 1 and 0. So that's why computer will now accept this number, convert it to its own language, then before we can be able to accept or receive information. I will give you an assignment. Give me an IP address of Google. Google, it's a character which is made up of letter. But it is given Google because for a human being to be able to understand. But for computer to understand, computer don't know what is called Google. It only understand number. So it's have to convert the Google to an IP address for it to be able to receive and give us the information. So all the websites around the world has their own unique IP address. Every computer in the world, every computing device in the world have what they call an IP address. for we to trace somebody with his own computer, where an information is coming from and where an information is going to around the world, we must make use of what? IP address. That's why when you're on the net, your IP address is known. And once your IP address is known, you can be traced from wherever you are in the world. Now let's move to the differences between an IP address and a MAC address. A MAC address, we said it is a media access control. It defines the physical address of a computer. I will explain. In the class, you all have your seat number or your registration number, which you cannot change, right? You cannot change your seat number or the way you are being called using with the register. So you cannot change that. So it's an example of MAC address. A MAC address cannot be changed. The only way you can change it is to remove the NIC completely from the computer and insert another NIC, which is the network interface card. Then it is also known as the hardware address, physical address, or Ethernet address. It is assigned by the manufacturer to the NIC. So the manufacturer always assigns this number. So let's move to the IP address. The IP address is known as the Internet Protocol address. The Internet Protocol address, it identify connection of computers. It identify connections of computers. So when a computer is being connected, it must have its own IP address for it to be able to have access to the internet. Then it is also known as logical address, network address, or internet address. It is assigned by the network administrator or the ISP. The network administrator or the ISP, that is the people that provide service for you to be able to browse, which is the internet. So in the internet, we uniquely assign an IP address to you, or the network administrator can dynamically or statically assign IP address to you. Sorry for using dynamically or statically, but the network administrator can assign the IP address to you. So this is, in summary, this is how a MAC address looks like. This is how it looks like, and this is how an IP address looks like. I don't want to talk about the bits of MAC address and the bit of IP address, but let me just say it. The MAC address is 48 bits, while an IP address is 32 bits. So in case you are browsing, maybe on the internet or Google, you might see other differences that I did not mention. I know that because it might lead us to other things, and I don't want us to deviate. But MAC address is 48 bits, while an IP address is 32 bits. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.